Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today I have a very brief review or overview of the LOKLiK die cutter. I've been using this for a couple of months. The people at LOKLiK reached out to me and asked if I would like to review this cutter. Since the cutter I use on my computer is actually a 15-year-old Cricut machine that I use with Sure Cuts A Lot software that you can no longer get, I thought it'd be fun to try something new and updated. And that way, if my old Cricut bites the dust, I'll have something that I can use, because I do use my die cutters quite frequently, although they're not a feature on my channel. They're kind of a means to the end. So if I need to make some favor boxes, or I need some card embellishments, or I want to make some stencils for some gel printing, I'll do that, design that on the die cutter, and then cut my stencils, cut my boxes, whatever, and then come down here to craft. I'm filming this in here and not upstairs at my computer where I have the machine hooked up, because the lighting is better here. It's not great for filming up there. So that's why we're doing it here. I'm not going to do a tutorial on the machine. There are lots of tutorials online that you can find for anything you want to do with this, but I will go over the type of projects I have done with it and what I use it for, and it may be the way you would use it for. Maybe you're into other types of crafting, and I would highly recommend checking out other people's reviews of it, because I know these machines are more geared towards folks that do craft fairs, folks that do t-shirts and heat pressing and tumblers and vinyl decals and whatnot. And I don't know all the things it can do in that scope, because I don't use that machine. I am a artist, a printmaker, a card maker, a scrapbooker. I do paper crafts and painting and printmaking, and that's what I'll be using this stuff for. So first thing that I did with this machine that worked out really, really well was print and cut. So basically, you can, when you open up the software, and it has free software that comes with it, you just download it. In fact, I think you could probably download the software now and see what you think of it, see if you like using it before buying a machine. I wanted to try the print and cut feature, and I cut out this little, let me get something, maybe hold it back there. I cut out this little vintage Valentine. I found it, I think, on the graphics fairy. So what I did was I uploaded the image onto the software, and it asked you if you want to do a direct cut, just a basic cut, or if you want to do a print and cut. So I thought I'll do a print and cut, and it brings up a picture of your mat with little registration marks in the corner. So you size the thing the way you want it, you print it on your printer, and then you cut it. You put the paper on your mat, and you cut it in your machine, and it cuts around it perfectly. Now, before I did this, I calibrated my printer. It walks you through everything you need to do the first time you do a cut. It's very easy. And I cut with a little border, and it's perfect. The cut was perfect. Then I took a book that I had that was called Memories of a Lifetime, and I decided I wanted to print a whole page of embellishments, because you can either print individual embellishments from that book. It comes with a CD-ROM, or you can do a whole page. So I'm like, I'm lazy, I'm going to do a whole page. And then when I brought the page up, it's like, do you want to use the AI to remove the background? So I said yes, but I didn't like that because it took out some of the images. So then instead, I just used the magic wand tool, and I took out the background, and this whole page this was a whole page of embellishments, and they cut absolutely perfectly. So it's a great way to make junk journaling, scrapbooking, card making embellishments. You can either use free graphics you find online, like a public domain clip art, vintage clip art, that sort of thing. You can use the designs that come in the LOKLiK Studio software, which I think the images are kind of cheesy, to be honest. But it's easy enough to bring in what you want. And then the next thing I tried, because I wanted to try the app to see how the app did, I did a very easy, like I just typed in happy birthday and cut that out, no problem. Then I thought, I wonder if I can make my own stencil using the app. So what I did was I took an acrylic marker. Actually, first I took an alcohol marker, and I started drawing rings, overlapping like loops on paper, but the alcohol marker was kind of running dry, so I grabbed a black acrylic marker. And then I took a picture of this and uploaded it to, actually right in my app, just uploaded it into the app on my phone, the LOKLiK Studio app, which is free. And I made a cutting file. But you know what? It wanted to separate the like lighter alcohol marker, which was a black alcohol marker, but still lighter than the paint pen. Like, it would pick up all of those details. So I'll show you the die cut that I made from that. It was this die cut here. I'll hold it up there. Can you see that? All those loops. Very cool. I can't wait to jelly print with it. I wanted to do this video before I jelly printed with any of these, so they looked good still. And then I thought, you know, because I have a little bit of design experience, I thought, what if I took that image and I traced it in another software and then brought it in? And I did that, and it worked even better. I made an SVG, and I imported the SVG, and and it worked even better. So I feel like you can use this as an absolute beginner, never used die cutting software before, never used a die cutter before, or you could use it, you know, with other software as a more advanced user. It does do a really good trace, but I feel like it almost traces too much on where I want to simplify designs, which means takes out some nodes to make it a little bit smoother and faster cutting. I haven't found a way to do that quite as easy. And so I'll show you a bunch of the stencils I made. The only thing I had an issue with, and I'm not sure why, and it only happened once, was the first cut that I made with it, trying to make a stencil. It did this. It like only cut out partial, and I'm not sure why, except the plus button was blinking on that, so I think I maybe didn't reset it before I started to do that stencil. Oh, by the way, Dollar Tree has die cutting mats, and the die cutting mats from Dollar Tree work in there perfect, because this is really sticky, and I'll say use cardstock, nothing lighter than cardstock on this, or use your vinyl or whatever, because this is so sticky that when I calibrated the machine, I just printed out the calibrating stuff on regular printer paper, and I had to wash this mat because the paper was so stuck on. You can rejuvenate the mats by washing them with soap and water and a rag. I will say though, I was using the light duty one, the light grip one from Dollar Tree, and it was working great, but then when I washed it, all the sticky came off of it, so I'll have to add something to that. I tried they have an AI feature where you can like tell it what kind of die cut you want and it will make something for you. I did not have great luck with that, and you get like 20 designs a day that you can make, but each time you put a prompt in, it takes 2 designs. So I'm not a big fan of that, but that is there. I'm sure it'll get better as time goes by, but right now I don't think it's quite ready for prime time. I wanted to remake a stencil that I made a long time ago, which was like the pattern of the Overlook Hotel from the movie The Shining. I don't know if that's showing up very well, but it's one I love to gel print with, and I have ripped the stencil. So that was what I tried to do with AI, but it was not getting what I was throwing down. So what I ended up doing was just finding the pattern, and then I traced it in the software to make the stencil, and then but it was just a small fraction of the pattern, so I overlapped it a few times, and then I was able to combine it and make one solid thing. And I could do that really well in the desktop software or the laptop software. And I made a bunch of different things like that. Found some public domain, Creative Commons. I found some Creative Commons seamless tiles, and so I just made a bunch of different stencils using those. And that worked out really well, especially because I like to do larger gel printing and I wanted to make some larger stencils. Now, the settings can be a little bit friggy because some of these, like to doing cardstock, it wants you to cut the image twice, basically, and I've never had to do that with my Cricut machine, so that was, I didn't really like that, because it seemed like it was taking a long time to cut things because it was doing multiple passes. So instead, for the simpler designs, I was using extra force, a higher force, but one pass. But it's one of those things where you probably just have to feel it out. There are a lot of selections you can make in the software for what you want to cut, and if you use the LOKLiK and HTR Run, who is I guess that's the company, the parent company of both of those. It's like a company that makes heat presses. That's why I say this is probably more for like that side of crafting. They have a bunch of pre-programmed settings for their products, but if you're using cardstock, they have a couple kind of generic cardstock settings, and you're probably going to have to mess with them a bit to get exactly what you want. So that's a little less intuitive than, say, speed and pressure and force like my antique Cricut machine uses. I really like how that one came out. That was really fun. But all in all, I think it was pretty easy. I did have a little bit of tear out on some of my designs that I was cutting, and maybe I didn't have enough passes, or maybe it was the additional passes that was tearing things out. But I found the front side of the designs to be okay. The tear out happened to be on the back side, which if I was using it for a project, it wouldn't be a big deal. Now, using the app, I could not find a way to connect several pieces to make one design. So a lot of these stencils I was making was like a tile, and I would duplicate it a few times and weld them together, or combine them so that they would make one connected piece. When I tried to do that in the phone app, I was trying to take this tile here, and I was trying to make a full 12 by 12 stencil with it. But when it cut out, I couldn't find a setting to combine it. Well, I found the setting, but it was grayed out and I couldn't apply it to what I was doing. So I couldn't do a 12 by 12 design. I couldn't couldn't weld a bunch of things together to make a big design on the phone app like I could on the desktop, and I'm not exactly sure why that is. But that's probably the only issue I ran into with wanting to do something that I couldn't do. The other thing that I couldn't do that I wanted to do was to like stamp an image and then take a picture of it and then be able to cut it out like you could if you had a silhouette machine, or what you do just natively in a scan and cut machine. Because I use my scan and cut machine a lot, and for that I don't use it on a computer. It's standalone. I don't need anything else to run it. I stamp on cardstock, put it on the mat, put it in, scan it, and cut it, and it works really well for that. It's, you know, this machine is not a standalone machine. You need something to operate it, whether it be a smartphone, a tablet, or a computer that you can hook it to. You can use it over Bluetooth, or you can use it via a USB cord. I used it over Bluetooth with my phone, and I used it with a USB cord with my computer. Both worked really well, but this is not a standalone machine. You need to have something to operate it with. It's not like a cartridge-based machine, and it doesn't store a bunch of patterns inside it like a scan and cut does. So if you are somebody that absolutely does not want to use it with a computer, you want something that's completely standalone, I would still recommend the Brother Scan and Cut for that. And again, so many tutorials, so many reviews online that you can check out for any machine that you're looking for, and I would highly recommend that. The big con that I had for this was that I couldn't see a way that you could use it without being online. This uses a cloud-based software and a cloud-based app, so if you are somewhere without cellular service or without Wi-Fi or without a computer, then you are kind of up a creek. However, well, you'd still need a computer. You still need something to run it. I did see that it is compatible with SureCut Lot 6. I use SureCut Lot 2 for my Cricut machines. So you could use Scal 6. I really love that software to use that if, say something, and the reason why I don't like the internet-based software is because if a company goes away and you've got that machine and there's no more website that you can connect to, no more software, then you've got a brick. You can't do anything with your machine. And that's the problem that's one of the reasons I don't like Cricut machines anymore. I don't like you have to use a cloud-based software. I can see why companies do it because they can constantly be fixing bugs, updating, and they don't have to send updates to everybody. Just next time somebody logs in, it's ready to go. So I understand that, but I don't want to be stuck with a machine that I can't use. But since it is compatible with SureCut Lot 6, that took that qualm away. So the only qualm I would have would be if you are not savvy with using software and you just want something that you can put your design in, have it cut and have it out like a scan and cut, or a cartridge-based machine like a Cricut, like an old Cricut or an Eclipse. I don't even think they have cartridges anymore. Then you're kind of out of luck. You will need to have a computer or have a smartphone and be able to run that. Advantages. This is a lot of advantages. This comes with a. I'll just open it up here. It comes with a standard fine point blade, and that's how you change it. It also comes with a pen holder, and the pen holder it comes with a black marker that will fit in here, but it's also compatible with the original Ohuhu water-based markers. It's the same exact size. So I have a 120 set of those, and you can put those in as well. You gotta take the cap off, but you can put those in and write with them. So if you wanted to, not use a printer, and you wanted to have something kind of written out or drawn out, like maybe you saw a pretty coloring page and you wanted to draw it out and then cut it out, you could do that with these pens or a sentiment or something like that. So I think that's kind of neat. Basically because it uses a pretty generic marker, and that just happens to be the same as the Ohuhu 120 set. The ones that look like this. They have smaller sets of them too. So I just thought that was kind of interesting. And then there's a little spot to store them on the end of the machine. It comes, this is the black marker it comes with, but it's the same as these Ohuhus, which are very affordable. So yeah, you've got 120 colors there if you wanted to go that route. I'll link all the stuff in the video description, and then obviously you probably want more to take more information. This is a tool for weeding that it comes with. I haven't used this honestly because I don't do vinyl stuff, but I don't know why that unscrews. Maybe there's other heads that go onto it, I don't know. But that's something. The other thing that's kind of interesting about this, it cuts on like your regular 12 by 12 mats. It'll take, I think, probably pretty much any 12 by 12 mat you might have, or the Dollar Tree ones, which, you know, just don't wash them. Honestly, I think the reason why I might have lost the sticky on that is because I wiped it with a sanitizing wipe first. And I noticed it was pulling up some of the adhesive, and then when I washed it with just soap and water, it all came off. So I don't know if I did something with the wipe or not, but it was $1.25. I'm not going to worry about it. This is something, if you're into the vinyl crafting, you can cut matless on this machine up to 13 feet with vinyl, if that's something you want to do. Again, it's not something that I do, but I know a lot of people like to do the like heat transfer t-shirts or vinyl decals for all sorts of different projects, mugs, or even vehicles. Maybe you have a home-based business and you want to do something like that. You can cut 13 feet by 12 inches wide. This, well, maybe not quite, could you do quite, maybe you could matless. You might be able to do 12 inches wide. 11 and a half anyway, but it also has this thing. It doesn't come with it. It's an optional roll holder, and that will just click onto the machine, and it's got a little paper trimmer or a little vinyl trimmer. So say you're cutting stuff for a t-shirt and you're done cutting that, you can leave the vinyl on the roll, just slice off that piece and leave it set up for the next project. So I think that's kind of neat. They've thought of a lot of things. This company has been around for a while making heat presses and mug presses and sublimation materials, and I don't do that. I don't really know what it is, but I know it's really popular, and I know a lot of craft fair artists and crafters use those products. I just don't know anything about them. But again, search reviews and search tutorials on this and you will see how to use them. I'm sorry, I'm just not very informed on that type of craft. There's a lot of crafts out there. I don't know them all. I don't do them all. Another interesting thing that you can get is a deep point blade. It's just like how the Cricut machines have those deep cut blades, so you can cut through things like cork and cardboard, like chipboard, mat board, that sort of thing, leather. They have this. I don't think they have like a rotary blade. I think like I know nothing about the Cricut Maker, except I think it has a rotary blade too. But you can do all sorts of materials on this. And I grabbed a fabric mat and a strong grip mat from the Dollar Tree just in case I felt like doing that. But yeah, and the deep point blade kit has 2 blades, and this comes with 2 blades and the standard blade holder, which I'm gonna put that back in before I lose it. So yeah, I'm going to just look on my notes because I did make a bunch of notes on this with pros and cons and stuff, but I think just generally talking about it, we hit them all. I found it very easy to use, but I'm very familiar with the computer-based die cutting software. This sure cuts a lot anyway, and I've used a few other ones. Over the years I've tried Make the Cut, and there was one called Fairy Cut that did a print and cut way back in the day. And they all run pretty similar. I would say if you're used to any of those, it's going to be a piece of cake. I've never used the Cricut Design Space software. But the first one that it came out with, like the Design Studio, that used to be on a CD that was not internet based, I did use that a little bit before I kind of swore off anything Cricut, except for the machines that I already had, because I'm using those, but I'm just not, you know, I'm not putting any more money in. I did not mean to beat a tirade on Cricut, but you know, it is what it is. Don't brick my machines. Don't tell me what I can cut with my machines. I don't like that. I'm very stubborn with that. Price on this machine. This is around, I'm gonna say it's the regular retail price for this is around $220, and this is a very similar machine to the Cricut Explorer Air 3, which is $320. I'm thinking, but there's always sales and bundles and discount codes, and I think they gave me a discount code to share. I'll put it in the video description if so, but there's always bundles. So like if you want the kit that's got the vinyl thing, because you're a vinyl crafter, you can get a deal on that. If you're somebody that wants to do heat pressing t-shirts and stuff, you can get a bundle that's got a heat press machine. There's lots of like little add-ons. Oh, something else they offer is a foil transfer kit. So if you want to do the hot foiling, like foiling is really popular with card makers, this has a little pen and you can use it with hot heat transfer foil, and you can put like shiny foil designs on your cardstock. So if that's something that you're into, it's got 3 foil transfer tips, a fine, medium, and bold. It's got 20 foil transfer sheets. 4x6 in size. There's five each of each color: gold, silver, green, blue, and purple. And it has masking tape to hold it down. So this is a nice little kit if you've never done that. It's a lot cheaper than, I don't know who came out with the other one. There was one you had to, I think, buy a tip for each size you wanted, but it's all right here. I like that. I like that it's pretty affordable. And I think the reason the machine's pretty affordable is because you're buying their consumables. This is all set up to use their consumables. I use my own stuff, so that's not an issue. But I think it's because a lot of people were using their heat presses but buying Cricut machines, and were buying other die cutters. They figured, why not sell the die cutter too? At least that's my opinion. Software is free. That's better. Brother Scan and Cut charges for their software. I've never bought it. You don't have to pay to use it wirelessly like you do with the Brother Scan and Cut. So that's nice. I hate that. They charge you $50 to buy a card to use your Brother Scan and Cut wirelessly. It's like, come on, you know the features in there. Don't charge me just because you can. I don't like that. I don't like this subscription service for everything. It just really irritates me. So no charge for the software, no charge for the app. It's easy to use. The print and cut is fantastic. And I think that might be fairly new because I was seeing some old reviews where it said the print and cut was really bad. I had no issues whatsoever. I thought it was very intuitive and easy to use. It's got the AI capabilities in the Pro version of the software. The Pro version right now is free. When I asked them about that, I said, okay, it's prompting me to upgrade to the Pro version for free and save $30. What is this doing? Is this going to charge me at some point if you decide to charge for it? And they said no. They may decide to charge for it at some point in the future, but right now it's free. And what the Pro version gives you is the ability to use the pen tool, which is, if you've ever used a vector-based design software where you make lines, you can like go dot to dot to dot to dot to dot, make lines, and you can curve those lines to basically draw things on your make vector illustrations to cut out or to print out or whatever. It has that capability. It's very simple. I probably still would use Inkscape if I was going to draw something, but it has that there, and it's got this AI capability where you can do up to 20 designs a day, and each day it resets, kind of like ChatGPT does if you've ever used that. I think it might take you 20 tries to get what you want it to get. And there are a bunch of designs loaded into the software for free. The boxes, the three-dimensional boxes look fantastic. All of the text-based and image-based stuff they have there are giving Windows 94 vibes. It's looking like clip art that you would use to make an office party banner back in the 90s. It is not great. But you can upload whatever you want and cut it. Now it does tell you to be mindful of copyright, not to do anything illegal, but you can upload any picture you want and transfer it and trace it. It's pretty easy. Yeah, you can connect it with a USB cord or wirelessly. So that means if you don't have room right next to your computer to use it or your laptop to use it, you can have it on your craft table and have your laptop over on your desk, and you don't have to run a cord, which is nice. Nobody likes cords. But I already had a cord going because I had the cord to my Cricut, because my Cricut's not wireless. Because it's old. It's like, I do not recommend buying those machines now. This is back when the machines weighed a ton and were very expensive and you had to buy them from an independent dealer. And they threw the independent dealers under the rug by doing those $200 Cricut machines at Michael's and stuff for Black Friday, which totally killed the independent retailers because they had to sell them for like $600 because they were paying $300 for them, or $3 something, $400. I don't know. Anyway, I don't like Cricut. I make no mistake. I make no secret about that. Use whatever you want to use. I'm still using my old ones because I have them. I'm going to use what I paid for. Actually, my mom gave me that as a present, so I didn't pay for it. But I'm using it. Gosh darn it. It's still running. It's very versatile. It's compatible with Sure Cuts a Lot 6, which I already talked about. That's great die cutting software. I'll link to that in the video description too. I highly recommend Sure Cuts a Lot. Sadly, they no longer sell the Sure Cuts a Lot 2 that I use because Cricut sued them and said you can't make a software to go with our die cutter, which I don't know why. You can print with any printer with any software. Why can't you? Because, you can use your fonts. I was wondering if you could use your fonts because it comes preloaded with fonts on the website, but you can use all the fonts in your computer that you already have installed. So that's nice. I was worried that that wouldn't happen, but you can. You can import SVGs you've designed or bought elsewhere, so you're not limited there. Yeah, the only con is you have to have an internet connection to use the app or their software. And possibly they may start charging for the Pro version of their software, which has the AI capability and the drawing capability. So those are the only cons, really. I think it's pretty easy to use. Keep in mind, I've been using die cutting software for, about 17 years. I designed die cutting SVGs way back before I started on YouTube. That's how I made a meager living selling commercial use die cutting templates. So I do have some experience there, but I don't consider myself a very tech savvy person, and I thought this was very easy to use. It's very quiet. It's the quietest out of all my machines. So if you are somebody that has to be quiet when you craft, maybe you're crafting at night after your kids or husband's asleep, you don't want to wake anybody up, that's going to be fine. Although it does annoy my dog. If she's in the office and I'm cutting with that, she usually leaves the room. But it's way quieter. It's about half as quiet as my brother's scan and cut. And it's quieter than my older crickets, but I don't know what the new crickets are like because we've discussed that already. Yeah, lots of free projects available within their software. Like I said, the boxes look great. The clip art's a little cheesy, but you can find all sorts of things online. You could just find any image really, and it's pretty easy to trace and cut. And you don't need to know how to do it like you used to with other software. And of course, I don't know how software has grown because I'm still using, Shortcut Slot 2 from 2015. So I don't know the other advances in other softwares because it's not what I do. It's a means to an end. I make stencils so I can do a project. I make clip art, like little embellishments so I can do a project. My projects are not die cut based. They're kind of like a stage along the journey. If I design something for when I was making templates for a Papercraft Society box, I designed it in my die cutting software, cut it out, made sure it worked, and then I sent the template off to them to make into a die. So my use is probably not typical, but there are so many people that use this machine, that have reviewed this machine. Just check it out, get a few opinions, and see what you think. Like I said, I have no comparison to other modern machines other than the Brother Scan and Cut, and that one's, I think I got that in like 2017. Shortly after it came out, it's the Scan and Cut 2, so it's not the first one, but it's the second one, and I'm still using that. Either these die cutters are very durable, or I'm just very gentle on them, I don't know, but yeah, very easy to use. I recommend it, and I'll put links and discount codes in the video description. I'm pretty sure I have a discount code for that, but there's bundles depending on what type of craft you do. So if you're doing the vinyl, get the bundle that's got the vinyl stuff that you want. If you want to do heat press, get the bundle with the heat press. If you want to do, I don't know, they have bundles for everything. I don't know everything they do because there's so many different crafts that people do with die cutters that I don't do. But I do recommend it. My only con is the internet-based software, but you can get around that with using Shortcut Slot 6. And it seems like you could buy that in the future. You don't need to buy it right away. If something happened to the company or you just weren't happy with the way that software worked, which I think it's not annoying to use, you could get that in the future and be all set. So I feel comfortable recommending it. If you couldn't use it offline with a third-party software, I would be uncomfortable recommending it, but as long as you're comfortable with using it with something, it's not just take it out of the box and use it. You've got to have a smartphone or a tablet or a computer. As long as you're good with that, then I recommend it. I think the price is great, and I think you're getting a lot for your money, and I think they're pretty generous with the stuff they give you in the box. So there you have it. Thank you so much for watching. If you have questions, go ahead and leave them. I don't know if I'll be able to help you if you're asking about some of the vinyl crafts, all that stuff. I'm probably not going to be able to help you with that, but if I can help you, I will. And thank you so much for watching, and until next time, happy crafting. Bye!